Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you and your time. Today I'm going to be giving bubble baths to my plants. I have two aglaonemas that I'm going to be potting into one pot, and I am going to show you how I give them a bubble bath, all to prevent any kind of pest from being in the soil or on the leaves somewhere, like the larva or anything like that. And I'm going to show you exactly how I acclimate them to my home so that I feel a little bit more comfortable with them being out of a bag or anything like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what I use in my bubble bath solution. The first thing I use is this tea tree Castile soap. You can use whatever kind of soap you use to clean your plants. This is what I am using. I like the natural oils, excuse me. I like the natural oils that are in this soap right here, and it tends to, you only need a small amount of this. There are no exact measurements for this. I literally just put it in until I smell it the way I want to smell it. That is so incredibly irresponsible. But that is the way I mix this mixture, and because depending on how much water I am using, I just go according to when I start to smell this product. Or if I use, there's also another one, it may even be from Dr. Bronners, but there's another one that is tea tree, not tea tree, it's peppermint, and I just go according to the smell. But again, it's just anything that you're using, whatever you use. If you use your dishwashing liquid, just use your dishwashing liquid. I don't think it'll be a big deal. It's what you choose. The next thing that I use is peroxide. This is 3% peroxide. Yes, this is a 3% peroxide mixture, and I just give it one big long squirt into my water container. Most of my solution is water. I fill this watering can up to about this point right here, and I just start putting in my ingredients. So the next thing is the peroxide, and then I have some alcohol. The alcohol is something that you use according to what you feel comfortable with. For the initial clean that I do for my plants, I use the equivalent of about a quarter cup of alcohol in my solution in this size of a jug. I use about a quarter cup because I do want to make sure that I am attacking anything that could be in or on the plant. And because I do rinse the plant off afterward, I have not had a problem with that. But I just wanted to let you know, I don't smell the alcohol in the water when I have it, but I use a good amount. Again, about a quarter cup of the alcohol. The other thing that I'm going to have on hand is my neem oil spray. The neem oil spray I use just in the end. I am just going to dust it over the top of anything. So if I missed anything by chance, I feel more secure just having that double layer of protection. But that's definitely not necessary for a bubble bath. And the final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to top dress my plants to prevent any gnats from feeling welcome in my plants. I'm going to top dress my plants with cedar chips. These are the cedar chips that I buy. Let me see if I can get the name in there. You see that this is for pet beds. So they are it is a pet friendly product. This is the way they look. And cedar chips absorb moisture. And so that works out well for my plants because it will hold on to a little bit more of the moisture. And the cedar chips also absorb smell, which is why they're used for it's used for pet beds, because it absorbs smell. Now the challenge with wood chips is that if you inhale the dust, it can be a problem for your lungs. Just like with perlite, treat it just like you would treat perlite. You don't want to have a bunch of this puffing up into your chest while you're breathing. This bag right here says that it has been triple filtered to prevent dust. And I do find that this mixture is not very dusty. And so it is something that holds true to it. There's very little dust. And the dust that I found that came up from it was when I opened it in the very beginning. I saw that there was just a little bit of a puff when I opened the bag. But outside of that, it hasn't really been bad. But you can always just mist the top of the chips before you start to work with my plants that I am not repotting right now. I am taking the cedar chips and I'm just putting them around the top. I've mentioned it before, I do not have a house full of gnats anymore. At one point when I started collecting my plants, There were so many gnats in my house. It was outrageous. And I feel as if it was making my family not really like the plants, only because they knew that it was because of the plants that we had the gnats. And so I had to work really hard to get rid of them. I tried spraying the neem oil. That didn't work. I tried spraying other solutions that worked for a little bit of time until the kids hatched. And so they were just like, just repopulating. And so then what I started doing that to me made a major impact was when I would see gnats in my plants, I would just go in, scoop off the whole top of the plant and the soil that was at the very bottom, get rid of that or repurpose it, like, you know, just heat it so that everything in it was killed. And then I would just spray the top of it with a solution. And that brought the amount of gnats down a lot. But then I did some research and I found out that the cedar is something that pests hate, plant pests hate, which is why people use it in their gardens, because it keeps a lot of things like aphids and things like that away, because it will dissolve, the oils from the cedar will dissolve larvae and even the exoskeleton of more hard pests. So this is actually something that is a deterrent for pests. So all I could think was, okay, I can go back to using cedar oil. But then when I went into Walmart one day, I saw that they had these bags of cedar chips. The first time I bought it, I bought a small bag and I put it on the tops of my plants. And I noticed a marked difference with all of the plants that I put it on top of. And because the number of gnats in my home has been reduced so much, I do feel that I'm not anxious about it, because I feel like I have the solution for getting rid of gnats. It's just making sure that I have a preventative measure in place so they don't even want to be bothered. So for today, when I repot my plant, I'm not just going to top dress it with the cedar chips. I'm actually going to put the cedar chips into my soil mixture. Here is the soil mixture that I use for today. And this, I just put a little bit more on top when I showed you the when I showed you the chips, but this is what the soil looks like. These are the two plants that I'm going to be showing you that I am going to repot. They are both Aglaonema, and I took two separate plants and I put them into one. This one's now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants in one container, and this one right here has 1, 2, 3, 4 plants in one container. And the reason why I put so many plants into one container is my theory on why those little baskets, these little baskets are in on the base of these plants. This is a part of the propagation cycle that they use to make the plants very big and so that they stay steady in the pots. But I think that the confined roots is what makes the plant as big as it is without putting it in a tiny little starter pot. So of course it can sell for more money. But when I did find that the plants that I took out of the baskets and put them into the same pots, they didn't do very well as far as growth. They were fine, but they didn't grow after I took the baskets off of them. They all focused on their roots. And so what I decided to do was, instead of taking the plants out of the baskets and then just putting them back into the same pot, what I did was I took them out of the baskets and I crowded their roots into a very small pot, a pot that is entirely too small, just so that they feel as if they are confined the way they're used to being. And then come this spring, I will then repot them if they need to be repotted. But I do find that the last ones that I repotted and I took those baskets off and put them into the same size pot, they just did not do as well. Not at all, not even a little bit close to it. My plants have been putting out leaves from the time that I got them, but then the minute I take the basket off, they just stop, and then the soil is just dry because only because it's working on roots. And I don't really want my plants to work on roots. I want my plants to work on their beautiful leaves. I mean, they have enough of the roots already to keep them happy, so I just want them to work on leaves. That's my theory. This is the process that I am trying. So far, I'm really loving these chips inside my soil as well as on top of my soil. The exchange of having no gnats is It's amazing. And I won't say that I have absolutely no gnats in my home. I do see them every once in a while, but the plants that have the chips do not have them. That's just not what my experience has been. And as far as having it in the soil, I can only imagine that it would prevent a lot of different things from wanting to be in my soil. And I'm completely for that. I'm really excited about this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I have been using this for close to a month now, and my plants have not shown any stress or anything like that. But it is something that I'm not a professional. I'm just here at my home, just doing whatever works. So just if you want to try this, I just wanted to let you know, try with it on top of your plants first before you start putting it into your soil. But for me, this has been game changer for no gnats. It's a major game changer. And you can see this plant has lots of roots. I'm gonna bring you down so that you can see what I'm doing. I have so many plants on my desk right now because I have to repot so many plants. Okay, we'll take this one over here. Okay, am I breaking these? I think I'm breaking these. I just broke another leaf. How terrible. Now this soil is really, really, really moist, and there's nothing, the soil seems to be fine. It looks like it's a mixture of things. It doesn't look like that starter mix. It looks like something else. But here you see the two baskets. So this one's not too bad because the roots are not like extreme. When I separate the baskets, I try to be very careful because usually one side of the plant grows into the other side of the plant and vice versa. So you kind of have to be very gentle. I don't think this one's going to come out without snapping though. So I'm just going to start snipping where I can and try to avoid. Oh, I shouldn't have put my shears into that soil. I think I just heard something rip. Okay, so here are my two baskets. I've never been able to take these off without removing and snipping all of the areas, so I don't usually even try anymore, only because I'm trying to preserve as many roots as possible. Okay. Aren't you supposed to wear safety glasses when you do things like this? Okay, so here you are, and then you have that starter soil that was in there. Ooh, I have an eye full of dirt. Oh no, I already got it. Thank you, honey. Okay. I have one of these plants that I put into, I took the baskets off and I put it into the same pot, and it literally has done, it just, that was months ago. It literally just started opening up leaves. I think it just, the focus just goes to the roots because it's used to being confined this way. I mean, it does work because the plants shoot out amazing leaves, but you just have to know. It's almost like there should be a little note on it. Oh, I lost a big root. It's almost as if there should be a little note on it that it needs to be, that these baskets need to be removed after you purchase them. Okay, so now we have our 2 plants that we are going to bathe. And this water is nice and warm. And I'm going to keep these 2 leaves that came off. So I'm going to try to avoid the roots as long as possible. Just pour that in there. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of the soap itself onto my hands. And I'm just going to start bathing this little beauty. I really like these gloves. Obviously, there has a big hole in it, but what I like about these gloves are the ridges on the inside. And I do try to get all the way down in here. This right here can come off. I have a bucket to the side over here to put any debris that I need to get rid of. I really try to focus on these little areas in here. That's fine, honey. Okay. And when I give a bubble bath, thank you, dude. When I do a bubble bath for my plants, I do not always take them out of the soil as much as I really focus on this when it comes to plants that are, I'm just rinsing it now. I focus on this when I'm working with plants that I've rescued, because in talking to someone in Lowe's, when they go onto the clearance rack and they look like they're good, it's usually because there's a pest of some kind. So now she's all nice and clean. So I'm going to take her to the side and I'm going to get my other plant out of the pot so I can put them together. Okay, so here are the plants that I will be repotting all together. And let's see. I'm just okay, put a little bit in there. And again, this is going to be extremely tight, but I will wait until springtime to separate these. Okay, and hopefully this is not entirely too tight, but if my theory is correct, this will be perfect. So this is literally comparable to the little basket that this plant was in. And again, this mixture right here is very, very, very quick draining, because these don't like to stay moist on the soil, in the soil area. And I'm just making sure I feed it in through the roots a little bit. And I'm going to knock off the top because I want to put a little bit of the cedar chips on the top. You're right back to being all dirty. Let's see if we can separate you and you. Just arrange you better. So I have to complete all of these repots today because I need to do my nails tonight. And it is not going to work out well to do my nails and then go back to potting. I have this fiddle leaf fig behind me that I need to clean up and bathe. I'm going to put her in the shower to do that. But there she is, all bathed, and I'm just going to give her one more rinse through, and I'm just going to spray all around her pot with this right here. But you use whatever you want to use. Every deterrent is a good one. I'm just going to put her, this soil is extremely dry, and she didn't spend too much time in the water when I was cleaning her with the soil, and so I'm just going to give her a shower, a quick shower, just to get all of the dirt off of her leaves. I don't like for them to be freshly potted and then have a bunch of dirt all over their leaves. But I won't do too much. And again, this is all pest prevention. And I do feel that the time that you spend with your pest prevention means a lot less time that you have to do the rehab when you have a pest. So that's it. That's how I give my plants a bubble bath. And for this one, I repotted and put the cedar chips inside of the soil to prevent anything from coming. For me, this has been working. I have only been using this for about a month now, but I will say that this has been working for me, and so I hope it continues to work. The cedar chips do break down into the soil, so I will have to continue to retop. But that's it. This is my repotted plant. She's happy, and she's not going to be filled with a bunch of pests, hopefully. And I am now covered in dirt and in chips. I have dirt in my eyes. But my plant baby is good, so I'm really happy about that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you and your time. If you've subscribed, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you in my next video. Bye, guys.